Hi enjoyers! Today I'm going to start a new series for newcomers in the Unreal Engine. There's a lot of people who starts anew. So yeah, if you want to get my completed projects and created assets, you can subscribe to my Patreon. There you can find some assets and projects from my videos. I would appreciate any support. Let's start. First of all, we have this Unreal Project browser. You can find here different segments, for example, games, simulation, architecture, and so on. I'm going to use the games, and here we have different templates: blank, first person, this is a first person shooter, third person, this third person camera and character, but without shooting, without some combat system. Top down is for different type of strategy, RPG games, and so on. This is different type of realities. I'm not familiar with this type of technologies, so I don't know much about this. And last one is the vehicle. This is for racing games and different type of games where you use some vehicles. Alright, then we have this project defaults. Here you have Blueprint and C++. C++ for coding. Blueprint is for other people who don't know coding. Also, we have here target platform desktop or mobile. I'm going to use desktop because this is a PC game, for example. Quality preset maximum or scalable. Starter content. This is just the content for beginning. If you are a complete noob, you can use the starter content. If you know what is here, you can use this or do not use. I'm going to use it here because there is a lot of stuff you can use without knowing how to create it. But even if you know, sometimes you can find here some very useful stuff. Then we have this ray tracing. Never check this one because you can add ray tracing later, and at the start you don't need this anyway. Here project name, you can type here the name, and project location is here. Alright, I'm going to create my project. Alright, now I'm in the editor, so you can see this is a vehicle template. Here we have these windows, some outliners and so on. How to work here? First of all, let's use our navigation. When you are in this viewport, you can click on the right mouse button and hold it, and then you can move it around. Then, like in the game, you can use WASD to move around like you're a character of the game. But you have no collision, so you can go through objects. Also, you can use a middle mouse button and move like this. You can use Q and A when you are holding right mouse button to go above and lower. Alright, and when you use left mouse button, you can move like this. Alright, now we have our navigation. Let's check out our buttons above. File is the standard button. This is like in the other different type of softwares. You can open, save, and so on. Edit is the same also, but you have here configuration. Editor preferences is settings for editor. You have here some stuff that you need to change. For example, in the play, you can change your resolution of your preview game. I will show you this later. Then we have here project settings. This is very useful because here you need to change your startup map and default map. So when you have map that must be level 1, for example, you need to change it here. You need to change it to make it the first map. Then you can change game mode of the game. For example, this is just a vehicle game. Maybe you want to create some GTA game and you need third person game, but you have also vehicle, so you can change here mode. And like this, you have different type of stuff. I'm not going to explain everything because there's a lot of stuff. Alright, then let's go to the last one, plugins. Plugins, this is a list of plugins that you have. You can also download them using Unreal Market. There's a lot of plugins and you need them. For example, I'm going to show you water. This plugin is for oceans, lakes, rivers, and so different type of water surfaces. And if you want to create them easily, use this one. Also, there's some paid assets about the same water stuff. They also plugins, you need to add them before you can, for example, work with them. Alright then, let's go to the next one, window. This is for opening different type of window in your editor. For example, I don't have content browser here. I have content drawer. If I click here, my content browser will pop up. This is my content browser, but when I click here, for example, it just disappears. Some people like this and they use it, this content drawer, but I'm here since Unreal Engine 4, and in the Unreal Engine 4 content browser was permanently on the screen, so it is not convenient for me. So I'm going to use this window content browser, and I get my content browser here. So you can see now this is not a pop-up. When I click here, it doesn't disappear. Alright, then we have these tools. Here you have different type of tools. You can create C++ class even in the blueprint type of project. But most importantly, you need this debug here to make some checks, audit, to make sure that your assets is okay. For example, asset audit. Also, material analyzer, virtual asset, and statistic allow you to learn about optimization of your game. For example, you use very heavy assets and your game is laggy and you need to optimize. This is your best choice. Audit and debug. Alright, then we have this build. Here you have different type of building. I'm going to say you that you need only build all levels and build lighting. Sometimes you need to build lighting to create proper shadows, but mostly you will use this later when you are already finished your project. You just build everything and your game is ready. Then we have this select and actor. You don't need this because you can call it here. And then we have this help. Help is just a help. You can find here forums, Q&A, different documentation, and so on. This documentation is important stuff. If you don't know how to create some basic stuff, you can go to the documentation and learn about it. Also, you can ask some questions in the Unreal forums and so on. Let's check out different buttons here. This is save button. This is selection mode. You can change this mode to different type of modes. Landscape for working with landscape and painting it with material. Foliage is of foliage. For example, you need to add some grass, trees, rocks, and so on. Foliage is for you. Mesh paint is for painting mesh using material. This is not that cool because we have 3D softwares that we can do that there, or we can just get free assets or maybe paid assets ready to use. So mesh paint almost useless at that point. Modern is the same. This is not bad tool. For example, you can create here some custom meshes. You can adjust existing meshes. But the problem is, of course, you have Blender, Maya, 3ds Max, and you don't need this one. You can just go to the Blender. It is free for using, and you can create there your model. Or you can also find some ready assets, and yeah. Fracture is for creating some breakable assets, for example, some fragile stuff, some, glass or breakable walls, and you can go and use them for gameplay. It is cool stuff. Sometimes you will use this, but this is not your go-to when you are just a newcomer. This is more advanced technique. Also, brush editing. I'm not using this one. I don't know how this works because honestly, I just don't use this because I don't need this. Last one is animation. This is a new one. This is in the Unreal Engine 5 feature, and the problem is the same for modeling. If you have Blender, 3ds Max, Maya, Cascadeur, and other motion programs, you can create animation there, and you don't need this one. This is only for some adjustments, some tweaks. So yeah, also not very useful, especially if you are not a specialist of animation. Also, if you are not fluent with animations, don't touch animations anyway. Don't use this animation, don't use software. You need either learn it or you need to pay and buy assets because this requires you a lot of skills. Alright, then we have this button. This is a quickly add some stuff. You can add different type of actors, lighting. You can add some cinematic cameras like in the movie. Shapes, this is a geometry standard. Visual effects, for example, sky atmosphere. This is sky atmosphere with a volumetric cloud. Also expansion height fog, also this one. Yeah, reflections and so on. Volumes, there's a lot of volumes. You need this nav mesh bounce volume here. This is AI volume for pathfinding. All classes, you can find here everything that you have in the project. Alright, this is a blueprint button. Blueprint button contains this open level blueprint. This is a special blueprint only for this level. So for example, if I, this is, let me show you this track. No. Let me show you vehicle template maps. When I change these maps, this level blueprint will change for them. So this is only specific for maps. This is unique. Alright, then for this you can create new blueprint class. You can convert some selected, for example, I click on something and I can make that as blueprint. But you don't need both this stuff because you can add it manually here. This is the same button. And for new empty blueprint class, you can right click here and create blueprint class. Then this is for cutscenes. You don't need this as beginner. This is only for advanced users. Then let's go to these buttons. This is play your game in the editor viewport here. So if I click here, I start game as my vehicle. Cool looking vehicle, I would say. Alright, if I want to escape, I need to press on the red square, this one. But the problem is, when you click on this game, I click here, I can't use my mouse button, mouse cursor, so I can press shift and F1 and my mouse will appear, and then I can click here and escape. Also, you can escape using button escape. Alright then, you can change the settings here and change modes, like this is selected viewport. You can create new editor window and get your game here. And this is very convenient for some reasons. For example, you need in this specific viewports. Let's go to the here and click on advanced settings. I said that we are going to use this one later, so this is the time. You can change your resolution, for example, monitor. I'm going to use this standard monitor. You can see this is standard resolution for the games. Okay, drag and drop it here, click on map and click here. Alright, you can see now the game is bigger because our viewport is bigger. Also, there is one problem. It is not centered. So you can find here this button, always center first viewport window to screen. Check this. And now every time you will click here, you will get your game in the preview like this. And viewport will be correct. So yeah, this is for previewing your game, checking some new mechanics that you have added. Or you, for example, can debug something like this. Also, you have this standalone game, but this is only at the end of your development. This is not for beginning, because if you click here, this will simulate your game and then you will start playing like it is actual game. Alright, let's go to the platform. You can change your platforms to check out how it works on the different type of platforms, and you can package your project. Packaging is creating actually your game, so this is finalizing your game. Don't use this if you are a newcomer. Just create your game, finish it, and then use this one. You don't need to create in between some versions. It is not for starting users. Alright, now we have this outliner. Here you can find everything that you have in this scene. So if I try to click on this one, you can find it here. So everything is here. Then we have these details. Details is individually for every single thing in the scene. For example, I click here, you can see details here. So yeah, you can change here some properties. Universally, you can change transform, but then you will have specific stuff. For example, this is static mesh, so you can change some static mesh information. If I go, for example, to player start, here you have this hello there, but you don't have, for example, static mesh because this is not a mesh. Alright, then we have this world settings. World settings is for creating some settings in this world. You can change visibility, light and stuff. You can change world partition setup, enable streaming. You can add some kill Z volume. Yeah, you can even make your game like in open world. For example, you can merge some different type of landscapes to each other and create something like in the open world games. Yeah. Then we have this content browser or content drawer, they are the same. This is actually all your content in the game, even some content that are not in the level. So, for example, I can throw here my car, for example. Do I have the car? No, unfortunate. Yeah, I have this car. For example, I can throw it here. Now this is in the level, but when I delete this one, this is not in the level. You can't find it here, but you can find it here because you actually have this asset in your content. You don't have this in the scene. So here your all content you have, and here all content in the scene. You can create some content by yourself, right click on empty space, and you can find out here. You can import some stuff. You can add feature content pack. Here you can find all content packs that we're already seeing at the start, and he can add some C++ content, and you can add starter content. We checked the box. If you don't check, you can now check using this add to project. Alright, then what we can do else, we can also add Quixel content. If you click here, you will go to here. This is a Quixel bridge, and here you can find very high quality stuff, surfaces, assets, plants. There's a lot of cool stuff you can use in your projects. This is free to use if you use it in Unreal Engine, and yeah, you can use it if you want. Then we have this different type classes, and also you can create folders like this to create some, order and hierarchy. And assets, this is a basic assets, but you also can go and find different type of assets that you want or needed. Yeah, I'm not going to explain every single one because there's a lot of stuff. Alright, that's it. This is our all navigation. And let's check out the last one, viewport buttons. Here you can change some viewport options. You can add FPS, stats, you can change game mode. Don't touch this too much because you can get very uncontrollable situations. Use standard settings, it is okay. Here you can change your point of view. Perspective is the standard one. You can change orthographic top, bottom, right, left, and so on. Use perspective, it is okay. Then this is a view mode. Don't use this too much if you are a beginner, but you can use this on lit. This is without lighting, and lit is with everything. Then you can also add some, where it is, optimization view modes. For example, shaded complexity, you can see optimization of your project. If you see green, it is cool. When it is red, it is bad, like this. Then you can click on show and you can add some stuff. There's default settings and it is okay, but sometimes you need to see collisions. You can add them and see that you have collisions. Alright, or maybe you don't have and you need to add something. And scalability, this is only if you check your settings and you use not cinematic, you use something below cinematic, then you will get this scalability button so you can change your settings. Alright, then we have the select. This is for selecting different objects. This is for translating, so you can move objects back and forth. Rotating is E, you can rotate everything. And this is scale, you can change size of objects. Yeah. And this is change and transform. For example, let me add something. For example, let me add shape cube. This is our cube. I can move it around and let's change this. You can see nothing happens. But let me rotate this one. I'm going to rotate it like this. Alright, now I click on the translate and you can see I can still move it like this. And when I change it, now it is relative to box. So forward is here and going higher is this one, because this is the top of the box. Alright, then we have this button. This is for snapping to surface. I don't use this one, but you can use if you want. This is just for making sure that your one object snap to each other. Then we have these buttons. This is grid for moving object. For example, here you can see location. Let me make the location clear, 5 minus 5000. Alright, now I'm going to change it. You can see I can change it. Let me change it to world. Okay, now you can see this is changing only by 10 because here is 10. You can change it to 1, for example, and it will change as 1. If I change to 5, it will change to 5. Alright, and when I remove this one, I can move freely as much as I want. You can do the same for degrees and for scaling. Last button that you need is camera speed. Camera speed allows you to change speed of your camera. For example, I'm going to hold the right mouse button and move. You can see this is one camera speed. Then I'm going to add more, and then I'm going much faster. This is for map travel. If you need something to adjust, for example, I'm going to adjust this ramp, and it is too hard to control. Then I can change my speed to less numbers, and then I can easily go and find what I need. Now this is it. I hope you enjoy. If so, hit the like button, share comments and subscribe. And most importantly, start enjoying Unreal Engine. See ya!